Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tisha, and as you saw in the thumbnail, I'm bringing you another tag video. On my channel, I do plan to do a nice mix of Bath & Body Works hauling, reviewing, some makeup, but I knew that once I started my channel, I wanted to go back and revisit some of these tags that I fell in love with when they were done. I thought they were so creative and such a great way to go back through your collection and kind of see what you already have. So this one is very special to me because it was created by Samantha and Allie, Glines, which are two of the people on here that have really inspired me to get started and just really are blessings to this community. If you're in the makeup community, you already know who they are, but they created this tag together and I've always wanted to do it. So I went through my makeup collection and I answered their questions, and I'm gonna leave all of that in the description box down below. But I appreciate you watching and giving me a chance to share some of my collection with you, and let me know down below if you have any of these palettes, if you love any of these palettes, or if you do this video, let me know in the comments and I will go and find it and watch it with you because I love them. I watched a bunch of them. So without further ado, let's just get started. So the first question is, what is your newest palette? And for me, it's The One by Lawless Beauty. This is not new to makeup, but it's new to me. It's a beautiful color story. And it was like a $67 palette, but I had a $50 gift card for Christmas, and I might have even had a sale. I don't know. Sometimes they throw out that last like Christmas sale. I remember that I got this and a couple other items for next to nothing because after Christmas you usually take a break from makeup shopping, but I did not. And this one, I tried the baby one, and it was a $25 palette. And it was beautiful, and every look I make with it is stunning. So then I was like, okay, the price point I'll get behind it. I understand. And so that is the newest one and slightly one of the more expensive palettes in my collection. The next one is your oldest palette, and that would be the Too Faced Natural Eyes in the tin packaging, which they might actually still be in tin packaging, but they've completely rebranded this whole line and it doesn't even come like this anymore. This was one of the first things I bought at Ulta and one of the first like high-end makeup items that I owned. It might actually be the first. And so when I got it, I'm surprised. I truly am surprised that I'm not like dug all the way through. I was so gentle with this though. I remember when I got it, I was like, I wouldn't use it because I was just like, oh, I got something from Too Faced, and I don't even use it anymore because it's so old, but I love it and I can't throw it away yet. I should, because I can't use it because it's too old, but it's one of those makeup items that just reminds me of where this all began for me, because before that I had that tiny makeup bag with like 4 items in it. The next category is your most expensive palette, which would be this guy. Sorry for the lighting. Natasha Nona Glam. And I have a few of the midi palettes. I've never ever bought one of the $129 palettes because I just can't. But this one, I didn't even wait for a sale. I just went ahead and picked up because it was so beautiful, and it is beautiful. And so I'm happy to have it. I don't do that often. I usually do wait for a sale because it just hurts less, but I was treating myself, and last year we all needed to treat ourselves a little bit, didn't we? The next category is most affordable, and I just like dug my finger in that. And it would definitely be what I think everybody's is, the e.l.f. bite-sized palettes. When these came out for $3, I think people originally were like, how good can they be? And then when we found out they were amazing, everybody has a whole collection of these bite-sized palettes. But this is the pumpkin pie, and it's just your monochromatic moment of pumpkin pie, plus I'm keto and I don't get to eat pumpkin pie. So I loved this palette, but it's so easy to use because it really does the work for you. It's like transition, deepen up your outer corner, pick a shimmer, and you're good to go. But all of these palettes are very loved here on YouTube, and for good reason. They are very good for $3. My everyday palette, oh, here it is the Persona Identity palette. And this one has just got a very easy to use wearable color story, but it's taking it up a notch. It definitely doesn't look like that little e.l.f. palette. It just, when you put this on, I don't think I've ever worn it and people didn't ask me what I was wearing, which I think is pretty cool because like I said, I wear makeup quite often, so people are pretty used to me being, you know, at least my eyes done. especially in a mask. That's all I do because I'm lazy now. But this palette, when it came out, was changing the game. And it actually has different packaging now. I've had this for a little bit of time, but they still perform really, really well. All the shades in here, and I just love it. And so this is my everyday go-to palette. Easy to use. The most colorful palette, I don't have a lot of colorful palettes, but the only other colorful palette went into a different category. So I'm gonna share this one. It's one of the Sephora Pro. This is the Editorial 2.0. And I know I got it because it was before I got some of the other palettes I've shared with you that are like muted jewel tones. This isn't quite jewel tones, this is like more muted neon, but it is fun to play with. And I got this on like a 50% off discount, maybe even more. Like it was in the sales section, plus I had a discount, and I do that a lot with Sephora. But this one is very fun to play with, especially in the summer, and the looks turn out really beautifully. So I'm not really your colorful eyeshadow girl. I'm sure there are a lot of people that have way better palette selections in that category, but this one I'm happy to have, especially for the price that I paid. It feels luxe too. Like that's one thing about this palette. I have 2 of the Sephora Pro palettes, and I don't think I can get rid of them. They're not my favorites by any means, but when I use this, it kind of makes me feel like a little makeup artist, and we all like that, don't we? And yes, so that is the most colorful palette in my collection, in my opinion. The smallest palette, aside from those little e.l.f. bite-sized, I got this one from Lorac. It's the sparkling palette, and this one I count as smaller because those pan sizes are almost the size of a brush. But this pulls together a really beautiful look. And this was like a rebrand for Lorac. They kind of disappeared for a little bit. Not disappeared, but kind of fell off the radar. And so when they came out with these recently, they had a Noir palette, they have a few other ones. The quality is really nice, and you can get them at Ulta and sometimes on sale. But this one I like because it's like pick a matte, pick a shimmer, and that's it. So like I said, I love playing in makeup, but I don't have time all the time. So I also like some makeup that just is simple, easy, and quick. So that's my littlest palette in my collection. And the biggest, this would have been my other colorful palette, is the So Jaded with Kathleen Lights and Colourpop. It was a collaboration, and this has 30 shades. So like I said, this one and the editorial were kind of competing. This one ended up having just a few more shades, but it's also very colorful, very muted jewel tones, which again must be my comfort zone with color. But this one I've loved on. It was affordable. I think it was $30, and I probably got it on sale because it's Colourpop, so we always wait for a sale. And I love it, and I never ever get rid of it. Okay, I forgot to grab this one. Let me grab it. This next category is what prompted me to want to do this video. And it says best memory. So your palette with your best memory. And I have to share this. It's the Sephora Igloo palette. And so we all know this is going to be nothing but quality, right? Because look, wait, oh, I wish I were done. Oh, I wish I were done. Look at this guy. And so the reason this has the best memory is because I've loved makeup for a very long time. A lot of times when people don't know what to get me for gifts, they give me a gift card. But my boyfriend this year for my birthday decided he wanted to actually pick out makeup for me. And I know he spent like a crazy amount of money on Amazon buying this. So I've used it for him. It was hard because you see what I have going on. But I love this palette more than anything in my collection, and I'll never get rid of it. And actually, I want to say, I'm sorry I keep opening it. It's one of those like kiddie makeup things where like you want to keep playing with these drawers. Even I'm going to bust them off. The makeup isn't that bad. It really isn't. It's got some different color stories here, and it comes with a full face, So you got your bronzers, your blushes, your highlighters, but it was just that he stepped out of his comfort zone to pick something out for me, and he's checked back several times to see if I'm using it and if I love it, and I love it. I do love it, but is this something I would have ever bought for myself? I can't answer that in case he ever watches this, but this is the best memory I have of a palette, and it kind of looks like half of a Death Star, right? So that's kind of cool. I want to do something with my background, and when I do, I will definitely display. That's another thing that I could probably do, bust this. I want to display this because I want it to keep it forever, but the makeup inside, the quality, should you spend 10 times the price? If you would have asked me, I wouldn't probably own this today, but it's just that when I opened it, the reaction I had, and that he actually cared if I loved it, and the funny, like, could have been a gift card. He actually got me a gift card too. He plays it real safe. He's very good at gifting. But this is my best memory, and I will own this. Maybe I'll be buried with it. Not because of the quality, but because of the memory. So the reason I couldn't display it over here is there's nowhere to set it, but I'll put her right there. But that is the best memory that I have of a palette. And worth the hype, I'm gonna say, is gonna go to Colourpop. And I think I have another Colourpop in here. Yeah. So I'll just use the other Colourpop palette for that. But Colourpop palettes are affordable. They're so cute. Like, all of the themes and the packaging for what you're paying, it's crazy. But then the actual makeup inside is so good. Like I said, this came out after I got the Glam palette. Wish I would have just waited. This would have done everything I needed that $65 palette to do. And I didn't even pay the full price. I think these are $12 full price, maybe $9, but I know I paid less because I always wait for like a 25% off sale. So, and this one is my favorite palette in this brand, but I have another one that's like a second. So we're going to talk about both. But this just, I don't know, like I said, I'm a neutral lover. And these shimmers, I can't stop putting them on. So even when I go to use another palette, I end up coming into this palette to use that shimmer. So I used this palette like twice, and I considered buying a backup. You don't need backups of makeup, because when you know, it's not like a candle. When you start burning a candle and it gets down to that 25% mark, you're like, oh, I might never get this candle again. You're using that up in a few hours. This will take me forever to go through. And I mean, look at it already. Like, I'm going through it, but it's not panning or anything. So when palettes make me go that nuts, you know it's worth the hype. So this brand, Colourpop, but these palettes, these 9 pans, are worth the hype, because again, they typically come out around the time another palette has the color story that's getting the popularity. No shade, but this one, I would have much rather spent the $9 maybe that I spent on this than the $65 I spent on the Natasha Denona. So Colourpop is worth the hype. They come out with a few collections a week, which are really hard. I mean, the thing is I don't think anybody, maybe someone's really good at collecting Colourpop. I am not. I could never keep up with it. Plus, I live on the other side of the world from California. I live in Kentucky. But like, it takes me a month to get a package from Colourpop. So again, I'm almost not even excited about it, except for when it's as good as that, when I do get it. I'm talking y'all out of the hype. Back to the hype. Colourpop is worth it, but in terms of how much they come up with, pick a color story that's good for you, and you don't need everything. That's my spiel on the Colourpop. Not worth the hype. This was hard because if it's still in my collection, I love it for some reason. But when I look at how much these cost, and these are the Marc Jacobs Iconic. Are they all iconic? These are the iconic palettes. These are the 2 that I still have, but I've decluttered several because, and I'll just tell you what I got here before I go into my not worth the hype. This is Electric, and this one is Scandalust. I know that because this was the first one I bought that made me think it was worth the hype. And then I've bought several since then, and they're $50 for this. And I've never, like, again, the Natasha Denona palettes are more, but I've never loved my eye looks with these. They're okay, but for $49.50, I don't know. I've passed on a few that would have been really good. I know I wanted the Stiletto, and I wanted that Terrific one that just came out, but I passed because these show up at TJ Maxx all the time. Not my TJ Maxx. I don't have that TJ Maxx where people go in and find that really good makeup. Mine is the one where it, like, someone raided the makeup section and dug their finger and everything and didn't buy anything. But just knowing that these show up in a TJ Maxx, it just really, really makes me not want to pull the trigger on a $49.50 palette. So I'll keep these because I do love the color stories. As you saw, they look like all the rest of my palettes, but in general, Marc Jacobs products, I mean, their eyeliners or their highliners used to be my favorite, but everything that I've ever loved from the brand, their mascara I love, I've replaced with something else. So they've been dethroned and they're not worth the hype to me. 2 more categories, guys. Hang in there, friends. The next one is favorite palette from your favorite brand. So again, I love a lot of my makeup. I love it. I love Natasha Denona. I love Colourpop. But I would recommend Colourpop over Natasha Denona because I just feel like that price point for Natasha Denona, it's very hard to recommend. So I went with Colourpop, and then I had to go with another collab. This was with Raw Beauty Christie, or AKA the only person that was winning in 2020. And she was well deserved because she is a joy of a person. But she created this palette right before she had her son. And it's just so special because it looks like her. Like, I remember when they released the teaser photo, everybody knew who they were collaborating with because she's so true and genuine. And so I had to have this. It could have been a black, like all blacks. Like, I don't use black eyeshadow. I'm scared of it. This could have been like all shades of like black, and I would have still bought it because I love her that much. But it's not. It's this beautiful muted gemstone color story. And this Old Growth is like the perfect transition shade, but all of these deeper colors that look a little intimidating, they did good on this palette because it's just so pretty. And this is the only piece of the collection I bought, but Colourpop is my favorite brand just because of the price point, but the packaging, who they collab with, they've never let me down with who they've chosen to collab with. They've always picked very good people. I want to see a collab with like Allie, Glines, or Samantha March. I think that would be awesome, and it would give them some creative room to share something else on the internet with us that we could all support. So that would be so cool. But favorite palette by favorite brand right now, like I said, it's this one and this one, but we're going to give it to the Christie's palette because of Christie. So the very last category is your most used palette. And this one looks really gross. It's the Urban Decay Born to Run, and I will never get rid of this palette, but look at the inside of this. Like, doesn't it? It just looks beat up. And I loved this palette when it came out. This one was another one that just made me feel so creative and like I was good at makeup because it did the work for me. And this was like the perfect all over the lid shade after I started using eye primer right around the time of this palette, because I didn't like how I would make a look leave and I'd have half the look under my eye. Eye primer does make it different, y'all. And that shade is almost gone. So I remember putting this away thinking, oh, I'm gonna lose my favorite shade, so stop using it. But when I do, like I said, I go through my collection and I'll pull out, I don't even know what I'm showing y'all. I'll pull out a few palettes a week just to make sure I'm using everything. And this is one that every time I do, I'm just like, oh. So it's my most used, it's probably my most loved, but I love all of these palettes and I really, really loved this tag. So I'm gonna leave the little categories down below in case you guys are interested in doing this, or putting your own spin on it, whatever you want to do. But I really appreciate if you watched to this point. Let me know down below what some of your favorites are from those categories. Even if you don't want to do the video, you can just answer in the comments. I love talking with you guys. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in a video very soon. Take care.